You're listening to the PRO Media Network, the next level in entertainment.
Coma podcast strictly dedicated to the diehard, true, who that black and gold nation. All the diehards. We love you out there, man. Welcome to your new podcast home. We are the number one. Recapping the Saints free agency moves. By any imagination, it's probably over with. But you've got to give Sean Payton and Mickey Mouse Loomis, and I say that affectionately to Mickey Loomis, you got to give these guys credit, man. The Saints were working with limited cap, and what do? They bring in a pretty decent free agent haul with the money they have. You got to give them credit for that. I've seen comments from a few naysayers, but pretty much the bulk of the people out there are feeling me on this one. I hear a few people don't like the Latavius Murray move. A few people don't like the Jared Cook move. A few people don't like Nick Eason. They got guys out there that don't like Malcolm Brown. But let me tell you something, man. This is a quality free agent class, and we're going to recap that day. We're going to recap that, and we're going to go over why this is such a very solid free agency class this year. Very solid free agency class with the situation, dealing with what happened around it, the circumstances involved with everything that happened to the Saints, the retirement of Max Unger and all this other stuff. This is a very solid group of free agents that's going to come in and contribute right away. And I'm going to explain that later on, but we're going to talk about that today in the free agency recap show. We also have some draft news. A lot of people out there want to talk about the draft. Well, guess what? That's the next big shoe to drop for the Saints. And we're going to give a report to you, family, about who the Saints have been looking at. Might give us an inkling of what they possibly might do. Of course, for the previous show, Sean Payton, in an interview we played, did mention the fact that he said something about the first round draft picks, and it's easy to get a first round. If you need one, you can go and get it. And that's nothing new. Of course, you can go out and get a first round draft pick if you need it. But perhaps the Saints might not. They might reach and get somebody they really like, But, enough speculation on that. But we'll give you a report on that. We also going to break down a roster here. An in-depth chart roster breakdown. We have two videos coming out real soon, family. That's going to go over this as well. Give you the roster breakdown like we did from the previous year. And show you what the Saints looking like on paper as well, man. It's really solid going down. We're going to talk about the day. And also the fantastic, famous sports coma question of the day is, do the Saints really see anything in this draft that they want to get a first-round draft pick, move up into the first round to select? That's the sports coma question of the day. Do you think, let's just pose it like that, do you think the Saints will move up in the first round of this year's draft? I know we got a lot of people out there, Jeff Champagne, Johnny the Dread, all those brothers out there, all you fantastic people out there. There's so many of them, I can't name all of them. Quack and DJ, of course, the regulars, my boy Sean, them. I mean, all of these fantastic who that black and gold people out there. I know they got a great comment to mention in that. So y'all put y'all questions in the comment section as usual. Now, without further ado, let's get into episode 347 of the Sports Coma, recapping Saints free agency at this point. Now, of course, the last free agent the Saints, we're going to work backwards here. The last free agent the Saints astutely, and probably the most impactful of the group, we're going to start with Jared Cook. 2 years. $15 million contract. We'll have to go over all the particulars. We know I ain't going to go and get into all of the meat and potatoes of the deal. We did that in the previous show. But Jared Cook feels the obvious need. One of the supreme needs going into the offseason was the fact that the tight end position, Ben Watson had gotten hurt. And behind Ben Watson, there was, of course, very thin depth. Now, the Saints did do a fantastic job in bringing back a talented player like Hill. But, you look at a guy like Hill, and I don't know. Josh Hill remember when they first got rid of Ben Watson, Josh Hill was the guy that was supposed to step up and take the reins then. He didn't, for whatever reason. But this past year, he excelled as blocking. You put the tape on, he's blocking his ass off out there. He catch balls and back and all this kind of stuff. But the production wasn't there from Josh Hill like they thought it was going to be. He was supposed to be the next thing coming behind Ben Watson. Of course, Ben Watson then ultimately came back and had a solid season for the Saints. He got hurt, he got old, and got hurt, got old, retired. Fantastic career for Benjamin Watson, stand-up person. And then, of course, the Saints had Dan Arnold, who in part is responsible for losing that NFC Championship game because he dropped a touchdown pass. And I hear all this stuff about Nicky Roby running over Tommy Lee, Jerry Lewis. But the reality of the situation is, if that guy would have caught that damn ball in the end zone, we wouldn't even give a damn about them going to look back at replays and all that. Now talk to me, family. Come on. Keep it real. If Dan Arnold would have caught the ball in the end zone, we would not be talking about the Los Angeles Rams running over Cody Roby, whatever his damn name is, running over Tommy Lee Lewis. We would have been playing in the Super Bowl, and ultimately, I think we would have had enough to take old man Tom Brady down. Him and Billy Goat Belichick. I mean, we would have took them guys down in the Super Bowl. Bill Belichick even admitted that he was a little worried about the Saints. Obviously, wasn't worried about the Rams. He took them apart schematically. But that was the big need. The question I posed in previous podcasts was the fact that if that was Jared Cook back there in place of Dan Arnold, would have Jared Cook dropped that damn ball? He wouldn't have dropped that ball. You and I both know that. The Saints would be sitting in the Super Bowl. They know that. They addressed it. They spent a little bit more for the best tight end on the market, but he fits perfectly for what the Saints are going to do and probably is their best tight end since Jimmy Graham is here. I even go out and say that. Could we expect Jimmy Graham type numbers? I won't go out that far, but looking at north of 60 catches in a year, similar, just like what he produced in Oakland, that is reasonable and feasible to me, because the bulk of the balls are going to go to Mike Thomas. You're going to have Elvin Kamara is going to get a few, and they're going to spread it around. But Jared Cook is going to get a lot of passes thrown to him, and he's going to make it happen. Now, outside of that, one of the fattest needs, the biggest needs that they address, they also address other things as well. Now, they did rework deals. They reworked Cameron Meredith's deal, freed up some money from Cam, reduced his salary and freed about $2.3 million of his money up to make the Jared Cook signing happen. Also, other things happened. Max Unger retired. He retired and freed up about almost $7 million of cap, but the Saints were right on it. They brought Nick Easton in. He was an under-the-radar signing, just like Malcolm Brown was. Nobody seen Malcolm Brown sneak up in here. If they telling you that, they're a damn lie. The only man that probably seen him sneak up in here was the janitor down there at the Saints facility building, because nobody seen Malcolm Brown coming in here. And the Saints, those were two really key signings to improve their offensive line. Now, Nick Easton is not no Max Unger, but he's not a bum either. We expecting really good things from Easton. Now, it's similar to like a Jonathan Goodwin sign. If you remember Jonathan Goodwin, a lot of people didn't expect Jonathan Goodwin to be as good as he was, but he was a solid force for the Saints in the interior of that line. I expect nothing less from Easton, a versatile guy that could play either guard or center. Guys the Saints like, 4 years, $22.5 million. He should come in and fit the bill for the Saints. Very solid move. He is penciled in as the starting center on the team, by the way. Don't get it twisted. Now, outside of that, let's go into the next one. Malcolm Brown, 2 defensive lineman signings. We're going to address the biggest of the first one, which is Malcolm Brown, the former first-round draft pick, defensive tackle, mammoth tackle from the New England Patriots. He's a guy that won a championship there. He comes from a winning culture, and he comes to the Saints. He is the type of two-gap guy that you would love to put next to Sheldon Rankins. He will provide a stout force in the interior of the line, and allow things to happen. Also, he have push too. He has the ability to be able to give you a little push inside there to get to the quarterback. He ain't just the guy that you expect to eat up 2 blocks. But Malcolm Brown is really going to turn it on for the Saints. When you have guys like Cameron Meredith and you got Davenport on the side, and then you have Sheldon Rankins when he's finally healthy to come back, this is going to be a very tough line to deal with. Plus the depth coming behind him with Daniel Yamada and, of course, Tyler Stallworth. And then you add the other defensive lineman, Mario Edwards Jr., 2 years, just under $5 million for the Saints as well. So if you look at what the Saints did, 4 years. For Easton, you have a 2-year contract for Mario Edwards, who's a versatile defensive lineman, plays either end or tackle for you if you need him. Malcolm Brown, 3-year deal. The Saints looking near future here, not too far down the line here. 2 very core special signings. I like the Malcolm Brown a little bit more than Mario Edwards, but I know what they're doing with the Mario Edwards thing. I can feel that. I really could feel that. I still like his production, former 2nd-round draft pick. Hadn't had a solid home to really put his feet in the ground and grow, his feet in the soil and grow. Maybe this could be, the Saints could be the pot, the flower pot for this man to take root and shine. I mean, he's got to shine when he play next to guys like Cam and Sheldon Rankins. Come on now. Other moves the Saints picked upon doing as well is, of course, Marcus Shrells. Okay, Shrells is obviously to replace Tommy Lee. We said this at the time. He is also a defensive back. Now, he don't have very much stats in terms of playing a defensive back, kind of smallish, but he's very fast. And on special teams, he makes things happen. Kick return, punt return, he's excellent in that capacity. He also plays on the other sides of the special teams game as well as making tackles and all this kind of stuff. Marcus Shrell is a solid move. Listen, that is a very solid move. They totally rebuilt the special teams room, new special teams coach, assistant coaches, all kind of stuff going on over there. And they give this guy a kick returner, and Marcus Shrell's been one of the top kick returners in the last several years and a solid veteran. These are very solid moves. Saints get him on a 1-year deal, just over $1 million for one of the top 5 best punt and kick returners in the game. You don't tell me the Saints ain't picking to spend their money correctly. Of course, they looking terrific. Of course, let's keep it moving. Saints restructured Drew Brees' contract, right? Saved about almost $11 million of cap for him. They were able to then reach out to Latavius Murray because of the whole debacle with Ingram. Of course, you know and I know that I would have wanted Ingram to come back. We could have had him back. I don't know what happened in terms of it. And they're saying that it was a little miscommunication. They didn't, and all this, and they didn't want to miss out on Latavius Murray. But listen, for years I've been saying the Saints need a back like Latavius Murray. He falls forward, gets you 4 yards. He's incredibly difficult to bring down. He doesn't need a lead rusher. And obviously, Elvin Kamara will be what he'll be. And Latavius Murray, man, you get him inside the 20-yard line. This dude will get you touchdowns upon touchdowns upon touchdowns. He is extremely difficult to bring down. And he doesn't get brought down by one dude. So this is the Saints running behind that line with Latavius Murray, bull rushing up the. I mean, this is really going to be an excellent, really solid group. Now, outside of the Saints free agents that they were able to bring, Latavius Murray to fill in for Mark Ingram. Of course, it's a step back in terms of Ingram is better than Latavius Murray. And I just think that, but Latavius Murray is still not going to be no bum. He's still going to be as productive. He's going to pile up touchdowns upon touchdowns. You better believe it. I'm just telling you. If you look at the contract that the Saints did pay Latavius Murray, if I can remember in my head the contract, let me see. I know it's 4 years, about right over $14 million. I think it's maybe 14.5 or 14.4, something like that. But it's 4 years, $14 million. That's a pretty damn good chunk of change to give Latavius Murray. The Saints will utilize Latavius Murray a lot in the red zone. Trust me, this is a solid core. Of course, I like Ingram to come back, but man, this football, man. The man in Baltimore, we gotta let it be. And then, of course, the Saints did some really fantastic things, bringing a few of their own people back. Teddy Bridgewater comes back. Will Lutz with this huge deal, one of the top paid kickers in the game. They did extend out a tender to Ken Crawley. Of course, nobody gonna sign it. I'd be surprised if somebody matches his tender, but it was extended a tender. And of course, the Saints brought back Craig Robertson, Chris Banjo, those guys, along with Will Lutz. Of course, Marcus Shrell goes to that new rebuilt special teams room. So big ups to the Saints focusing on the things they needed to focus on, which was the special teams and the defensive line to help to improve the run, to get the pass, and all this kind of stuff. And of course, the Saints still looking at pass rushers as well. Ziggy Ansah is a guy that they're looking at, but recent reports, at least several reports, indicating that teams are waiting until April until they reevaluate him again. It's something they're not making mention of, but the only reason you don't sign a pass rusher like Ziggy Ansah unless you have injury concerns. So that's the thing that's sticking out on Ziggy Ansah. Let's move into our next group of topics, which is the Saints. What are they looking at in terms of the draft? The Saints, draft-wise, have been looking at a few people. Now this is coming from the Saints Wire. If you want to check it out, it's a report done from Saints Wires and John Sigler, who's a pretty good reporter. I read some of his work. Of course, G Balance does it too, and a few other really good reporters out there. But this is a couple of things that I witnessed as a collage of different things the Saints are looking at in terms of Jeff Ireland, who's really ahead of the game in terms of looking at adding draft talent. It's a pretty good assistant GM in that role. Blake Cashman from Minnesota, looking at linebackers. Then they had a couple of running backs they looked at, well as running backs Devon Ozigbo from Nebraska, tight end Dawson Knox, Derek Beatty from Kentucky, Mike Weber from Ohio State. Every time we look at Ohio State with Sean Payton, you got to take that serious. There's a couple of Ohio State guys. Mike Weber was pretty good. I wouldn't be mad if the Saints use use one of their later round picks, or probably take two of those picks and combine them to move up to make more. I mean, Sean Payton's going to make a move in a draft, even if he take two picks to move up a spot to 4 to get something happen. But Mike Weber, Ohio State guys, is one they're looking at. Paris Campbell is also the wide receiver from Ohio State. Will Greer from West Virginia is a guy that they brought in. Ryan Pope is the offensive lineman from San Diego State. Wide receiver Emmanuel Hall from Missouri. Linebacker Tyrese Hall from Missouri. Tahali Warren from San Diego State. Joe John Williams from Vanderbilt. These are cornerbacks. The fullbacks, Hakeem Butler from Iowa State. Defensive lineman Charles Aminu. Ed Oliver from Houston. And the list goes on. They have a few other ones. So Saints doing it big, looking for draft picks, New England. Sports Coma question of the day is, do you think the Saints will use some kind of capital to move up in the first round or higher rounds to make something happen? Also, the roster breakdown, man. We got a lot of stuff we dealing with here. The Saints, we feel out a lot of stuff's going on with the Saints here in terms of the roster. They filled in perfectly some key spots to move ahead. So thank you for listening to the Sports Coma with Big Q. If you like the show, donate. Go to the links. Help the show out. Donate to the sponsors. Share our stuff. And join us on the next show. Thank you for joining us. Who dat? Peace.
I'm a Saints and Pelicans fan, so the only podcast I can get my fix is the Sports Coma with Big Q. The guy's intense, funny, and they always keep it real.
Check out the Sports Coma with Big Q and the guys.
Embrace Pet Insurance is more than just pet insurance. Embrace Pet Insurance promises to provide genuine support and certainty when your pet needed the most. With personalized accident and illness policies, compassionate customer care, 24/7 access to veterinary professionals, flexible wellness plans, timely claims processing, and online customer portals, their values is what makes them Embrace. So, when selecting a pet insurance company as a partner in your pet's care, you deserve a company that has your pet's best interests at heart. Get top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Up to 90% back on bills at any vet, total protection, pet insurance and wellness, and dependable claims payments. Get the top-rated and reviewed coverage for your pet today. Go to EmbracePetInsurance.com. That's EmbracePetInsurance.com. Check the link in the description section below.
Are you a boxing fan? Check out Ring Kings Boxing only on the PRO Media Network.
Sports fans are gearing up and saving big at Fanatics.com, the world's largest collection of officially licensed fan gear. From all the leagues, teams, and players you love, unique one-of-a-kind designs exclusively by Fanatics, and autographed collectibles from today's biggest stars shipped directly to your home. Join Fanatics Rewards for free to earn fan cash on every purchase. Shop now and for a limited time, get 20% off all orders. Fanatics.com, officially licensed everything.
Hit the link below and rep the black and gold today. Who that?
Do you need a domain name? How about a host for your website that can work with WordPress? Try Namecheap.com. They make registering, hosting, and managing domain names for yourself or others easy and affordable because the internet needs people. Namecheap is an ICANN accredited domain register and technology company founded in 2000. It's one of the fastest growing American companies according to the 2018 Inc. 5000. Celebrating nearly 2 decades of providing unparalleled levels of service, security, and support. Namecheap has been steadfast in customer satisfaction with over 10 million domains under management. Namecheap is among the top domain registers and web providers in the world. They offer a full selection of popular and unique domains along with fully featured hosting packages, SSL security certificates, WhoisGuard privacy protections, and more, all at the lowest prices in the industry. So if you need a domain name or hosting or anything else, think Namecheap.com. That's right, Namecheap.com. Check the description section below for link.